Hello, it's Michelle Butt, and I am here with you for another Face Fact Friday. And today is Friday, November 26th, which means it's my birthday, and it's November 6th, 2021. And what I thought I'd do for my birthday is share a couple of famous faces with you that share my birthday. And so even though we are born on the same day in different years, these are faces that share that energy of being born on the 26th. So I thought it would be appropriate to share a couple of famous faces with you, especially since you really loved when I shared the Jeff Bezos one last week. So this is Tina Turner. And what I thought I'd do here is show you her face over time. So when she was a young girl, when she's in her prime of her career, and or at least the prime that I remember, and as she is now in her retirement phase. And the interesting things, there are so many interesting things on her face, but what I want to call attention to is a couple of things that are really interesting to me. When you read a face from a facial intelligence perspective, you look for the thing that pops out at you and what that means about that person and their state of mind at the time. And the beauty of looking at faces over time is to see how state of mind changes. And so two things that are really interesting to see here are the change in the eyebrows from the young Tina Turner to the Tina Turner in the middle slide. And here we see eyebrows that are rounded and high. And here we see eyebrows that are peaked and high. And what I mean by high is that there's a big space between the actual eyeball and the top of the eye and the bottom of the eyebrow. And so rounded eyebrows speak to someone who is very much one who takes a people-centered approach in their decision-making and their strategic thinking. They want things to work out for all concerned. Here we see her in relationship and this young, wild-eyed, excited person. And this is her natural eyebrow shape. Then we see a few years later, this peaked eyebrow shape. Now, the peak is someone who in their strategic thinking is a quick thinker, is someone who thinks fast, moves fast. And because this isn't necessarily her natural eyebrow shape, potentially this new way of thinking based on the shape that she sees in the mirror and the shape that she presents to others who are unconsciously reading her face as well, says that she's a quick thinker. And if that is not her innate natural thinking programming, then potentially that might serve her because now she thinks faster and she's less concerned about other people in her decision making than she was when she was younger. Or it may not have served her because she's thinking faster than she should be and not considering the consequences and impact on all the people that that decision could impact. So that is up for you to decide, and maybe a question to have for Tina one day if we ever get to chat with her in person. The other thing that's really interesting to see is that in both of these younger faces, even though this one is a little bit fuller, the faces are long and drawn in here along the back of the rear lower cheeks, very much indicative of someone who is very royal. So if you've heard me speak of this, this is the royal personality. It's the perfectionist, the person who will go into lack to get something done, is very sensitive to the energy of others and to the energy of the environment, and may be accommodating as a result, or deplete herself to manage the energy around her. And we see that this definition, although it may also be makeup induced, but we can just see also the thinning and the drawing in of the face, that over time, this big exposure may have taxed her royal energy and her royal nature and made her more rigid or much more sensitive and to all of the input that's coming in. Then when we look here at this this modern day version of Tina Turner, we see this beautiful fullness all around the cheeks. We see that now there is this nurturing nature that's come about. So moving back into the energy of these rounded eyebrows from her youth, very much still a commanding force, but there's this extra set of warmth and compassion. We no longer see as much lack showing up here, no longer this response to overexposure. She's now retired, and I think she's living in Switzerland somewhere. I believe she's half Swiss. I don't know, don't quote me on that. But this beautiful coming into this self-care place, this really taking care of self. That's what these nice round full cheeks, being in a community that is loving and supportive, not necessarily overexposed. And we can also see this beautiful sparkle in these eyes, even though they've narrowed, so to not be as open to external stimulation, still sparkly with this connected heart-centeredness. And so this is a beautiful progression of a face over time. And really, I want you to think about why it's important to look at faces, whether they're famous or the one you see in the mirror, for changes over time, or just for what your features are trying to tell you for today, because it's telling you where you're spending your energy, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how your career and being exposed in the world impacts your energetic makeup and the way you respond to your world. And then how, when changes are made, the differences and the how we can see the progression of life and life experience. And this is a beautiful way to connect very deeply and authentically with other people. And since it is my birthday, I'm going to share two faces with you. So here's another face who also has a November 26th birthday. And this is Bailey Sarian. She is a YouTube star who does murder, makeup, and mystery, something like that. She does her makeup on camera while she talks about a true crime story. And what's really interesting is that we get to see here the pre-makeup and post-makeup face. In this pre-makeup face, we can see this hairline, this domed forehead, this strong chin, this kind of grayish undertone to her skin, very much a sage face. And sages are all about the mysterious, about the unknown, the unsolved, almost sometimes that conspiracy theory mindset. So we can tell that this is a career that she's very well suited for. You might not get that gray undertone or the kind of accentuation of the chin in the makeup face. So makeup can help enhance things and also sometimes potentially hide some of our nature to be less obvious. The other thing that I wanted to share about her face is also her eyebrows. If you look at them without the filling in of the makeup, these are eyebrows of someone who hits the ground running, very reactive, very quick thinker, without this makeup. Also someone who is, in general, on both sides, really highly critical of herself, harder on herself than she is on anyone else. When she shapes the eyebrows with the makeup, we see that she tends to curve them down a little bit. So this gives a little bit more of a curve rather than this stark hitting the ground running, extra reactive face. And so this makeup face Bailey is someone who will start to think about other people, start to have that people-centered approach to things a little bit more than the unmakeup face. And so this is in this version of her, when she's looking in the mirror and when we're seeing her, we see someone who is, yeah, reactive, but does care about others in those decisions. And that may be just characteristic of her when she's in this state and maybe not necessarily here, but things like makeup can help to enhance and change the energy of who we are and how we behave. Now, it isn't necessarily her natural state. So, does that mean maybe she reverts to reactiveness? Potentially, yes. But we would need to learn more about her to see that. But in this just little snapshot of her at this time, we get to get a picture of how she is in certain times of her life and in other times of her life, or the potential that she could be. And that's what face reading is all about. It's about understanding the potential of the behavior that accompanies the energy of the features and how we can then try to work with people, predict their behavior, or understand it in such a way that we can connect and communicate with them on a level that matches their who they are in the moment and how we can help them or build stronger bonds with them. So that is my happy birthday to me message to you guys for today. I hope you enjoyed these two faces. And if you would like to know more, if you have any questions, please let me know and keep sending me your requests. I love them, and enjoy your day and your week. And we'll see you next Friday with another Face Fact Friday.